Congratulations to Frank Daniels for the best assignment submission on the subject of Historicism and Preteristic Eschatology. This answer will be published in our October issue of Christian Times magazine, available from Amazon.com and Amazon.co.uk. Go to our YouTube video and find The Scriptures, the Only Guide and Assignment. That was posted on the 11th of September 2017 for the original assignment. We set an assignment for our students at Beaton Particular Baptist College, Pakistan, asking them to identify the eschatological views of Dr. John Gill as preached in his sermon, 1750, and compare them with Dr. James Stuart Russell's book, The Parousia, 1878. We invited you to assist them. The best answer we received was from Frank Daniels, Rethinking Eschatology. His reply: generally, I would classify Dr. Gill as a historicist. He refers to the papacy as the man of sin, as historicists do. By historicists, I refer to the viewpoint favoured among some early Protestants that the events in Revelation have been unfolding throughout the centuries, but that those in chapter 20 have yet to occur. Dr. Russell was a partial preterist. They view the bulk of Revelation as relating to events happening during the 1st century AD, 66 to 73. In Revelation, and usually in Matthew 24, they place a large temporal gap between the events of the 1st century and the end. Historicists hold to a number of smaller gaps, although they do not agree as to what historical events occurred to the visions in Revelation. Dr. Gill has placed all of Matthew 24 to 25 in the 1st century, but his exposition of the Bible leaves no doubt of his certainty that the views of Revelation were fulfilled as history behind him unfolding, even though chapter 20 is in the future. Dr. Russell would agree that the events in Matthew took place in the 1st century, and he regularly identifies the second coming as taking place then, with no gap in Matthew. He disagrees with some modern partial preterists. However, Russell views Revelation as they do. The events of the first 19 chapters were for the 1st century, but Revelation 20 is still unfulfilled. Together, Doctors Gill and Russell serve to illustrate part of the divide that occurred between the Historicism and Preterism. Victorinus, 3rd century, was both, placing most events in the past and having a somewhat continuous history until the future of Revelation 20, which he believes was immediate. By the 6th century, there were those who regarded the prophecies about the last days as referring both to the destruction of the temple and to the time in the future. Historicism, as we know it today, began in the 10th century, and Arnulf of Reims accused the popes of being antichrists. In response to the historicist movement, Francisco Ribera wrote a commentary placing most of Revelation in the future, and Luis Alcázar wrote one placing it in the past, concluding with the early 4th century. Henry Hammond agreed. Thomas Haynes, 1645, believed that the millennium had ended. It was then, at the start of the 17th century, that the preterist viewpoint, full and partial, diverged from the historicist. We thank Frank Daniels for his very good response, correct and full answer. David Clark, the 22nd of September 2017.